Such a good melody.
I know.
Curtis Mayfield's baby.
Just simple.
So good. We got a guest in the house tonight.
Who would that be?
Today.
Yeah, you got to. You're always too far from that microphone all the time.
I'm here now.
You need to up your game.
I'm here.
You're playing with rookie numbers, and no one's appreciating it. All right?
I'm on the mic.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
We got Agent Soulman.
Yeah,
Chase.
Soulman.
What do you prefer?
Whatever people are comfortable with, in all honesty.
What, Brenda? Is Brenda alright?
If you're comfortable
What
with
about
it.
Phyllis?
It's the most
Whatever you like.
How about Robot 47274?
If that works for you.
Okay.
most positive guy ever met in my life. Great guy. He's in today with us, man. He's promoting stuff. We're going to talk about that later. He's just going to be a part of the show for a little bit, producing, possibly coming up for us, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Running it. What are we talking about?
Well, it's the second part of the assassination of Freddie Hampton.
Yeah.
So
last week we touched on Black Panther Party,
which we had to.
Which we had to start with that.
Yeah. I know it sounded like a bit of a BBC 4 documentary last week, but there was a lot of facts. I flipped. Yeah, man. Last week I flipped through the show, and I just randomly clicked through the show, and it was always me talking. It was just me going, then on the 14th of February, Huey, and then clicking, then they were arrested. It was like fucking hell. But I feel like we had to do that to give some people a bit of perspective.
Yeah, not many people may understand the full perspective of the subject matter.
Exactly. Yeah. So we gave them a lot of content. Really, I think that was important to set up. I think it was important to give them, they can go research, they can go find these people, whoever it is that they wanted to learn about. Particularly Hampton and Eldridge Cleaver, I think you want to look them up.
And apparently I found out, I think I posted it, the dude that made Training Day is looking to make a movie about Freddie Hampton based on the book.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Based on the Jeffrey Haas book, The Assassination of Freddie Hampton.
I'll play Freddie in the movie.
Yeah.
I'll play Freddie in the movie, that'd be great.
Hey,
that'd be amazing. He don't look 21.
You come up with answers that don't answer.
He don't look 21. If you look, he look like Otis Redding. You know, Otis Redding was only like, what was he when he died? Otis Redding was like 25, 26, and he looked 48. That's Fred Hampton didn't look young at all.
At the top of the show, just before Freddie's Dead kicked in, that was Fred Hampton talking about the Weather Underground. And the Weather Underground was, back in the 60s when the civil rights was going on, you had what was called the SDS, right, which was the Students for a Democratic Society. And what ended up happening is that they broke off after a meeting in '69, and they got taken over by what was called the Weathermen, which is a fucking lame ass name. I don't care. Well, it sounds cool, but I don't like it. And they ended up becoming what was the Weather Underground, and basically, it was the death of Freddie Hampton that really kicked them off. They firebombed the police car and said, we've done that for Fred, and then they had a thing called the Days of Rage where they was meant to have like a, it was a typical like middle class white college thing. Like, so like 100,000 people turn up and like we're gonna protest and blah blah blah. Like 150 people turned up. They got a bit upset, so they went on a riot basically. But my favourite quote is one of the reporters said, the SDS students were marching through the street, setting fires, breaking windows, and handing out leaflets. I was like, what? What are you doing? Down with the system, burn the car, and you should be here on Wednesday because we're going to talk about quinoa. It's like, fuck off! You don't know what you're doing. So at the top of the show, what you heard was Freddie, because they was like, yeah, the Black Panthers are supporting us, and at the top was Freddie Hampton going, whoa, no, I'm not. You heard what he said. He went, they just took a bunch of students and they marched them into danger with the police, and they did get bashed up, you know. Like,
yeah, they did. They really did.
And he said it's just hucksterish, you know, kind of Custerish. It's Custerish, as in Colonel Custer, you know. It's like, listen, I know this looks like a futile gesture, but I think what we'll do is just run at the enemy with absolutely no chance of winning. So the Black Panthers weren't really down with that. But where we left it last time,
that wasn't their jam. No. Like I said last time, everybody likes to compare the Black Panthers to the Klan. Yeah. And I'm like, they're not a group that's out to do. No Black Panther ever did anything out of it. Was only self-defense. Yeah. Like if somebody was doing something.
Well, there was some people who, because a lot of people joined it really quickly. So there were some people who identified and like had the Black Panther chic who did some shit. But the actual core
those
of the
people wanted revenge. Yeah. But that's what they stood for. But it's called the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
Yeah.
For a reason.
They had to make sure the name was long for no reason. People think black people just like long titles and stuff. We don't. It's just a Tribe Called Quest. You got to say the whole thing. Just like on you seen Boondocks. It's the same thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
What's the
Black
other one? The
Panther
disposable heroes of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
It's like,
You gotta
Jesus
keep doing
Christ, guys.
But remember, they did have COINTELPRO then. So they had people there to check.
Wait, see, this is why he's here. This is why you're here, right?
See, that what happened was like really like see with this second show, you're tempted to go through the whole trial on what happened, but really it's brief. If anyone's interested, get the book and read it because
Definitely.
so after Fred gets killed in his apartment and so does Mark Clark, right? They indict everyone in there, which was their usual trick. So what they do is they harass some dude or dudette on the street for walking whilst being brown, and then they arrest them for attempted murder or assault on a police officer. That's their standard trick. Yeah. So they've dragged them out, they've done that, they took them to court, and then everything started coming out about what happened, right, in the apartment. And then when it got to court, I may have mentioned this last week, the police department, Hanrahan's district attorney office, said, look, the standard of evidence we've got ain't really up to it, so we're just going to drop all the charges. And that was kind of, they was hoping going to be the end of it. So they sit around for a while, scratching their dicks, don't know what to do. And then a guy comes up from a law office in the south and suggests to Jeffrey Haas and the other guys in Flint, he goes, listen, take a civil call. Make a civil case because you can then prosecute them on a conspiracy. You get to pick the terms and like what you're doing it, and you can have this thing out, which they do, right? They do that. They get the families together and they're like, "Fuck it, what would Fred do?" Fred would be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do that." The civil case is a fucking shit show, right? Because what happens at sometimes what you just mentioned, there is this bunch of guys who were part of like what I mentioned earlier, the SDS, right? And they knew that the peaceful protests weren't working, and they weren't really quite up for blowing fuckers up. Which, you know, I don't know what their problem is. I mean, that just sounds like a good weekend to me. I don't know. Explosive sex and booze. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's
Why
a
can't
fantastic
any weekend?
That's good. That's
right. You know. So anyway, but they do have a good idea. They have an idea. They were called the Central Committee for the Investigation of the FBI, and what their plan was to break into offices, get draft cards, and burn them so people couldn't get put in the draft. But what they accidentally do is they break into this office. They scouted it first, and they found out the FBI had an office in there, and there was no locks on the filing cabinets. So they break into this place, right? They did a documentary about it, but it was so long after that it was past the statute of limitations, I think, so they could talk about it, but they never got nicked. And they find these documents, the COINTELPRO documents, which, man, if you think JFK is bad, that's what's so bad. JFK, that's nothing. That's a crazy white guy shooting a president, you know?
You going for the guy in the bush shot him?
Still, it would have been another crazy. You've got to remember, look, what you
It's
got to
still
remember.
a crazy white guy killing him. No one argues that the government did not kill JFK. It's just, like, no one is saying, like, it definitely was a man in the bush with that, but...
Who curved the bullet?
Yeah. Who Matrixed it, right? He did the fucking, what's the Angelina Jolie movie?
Wanted,
when they shoot Wanted, when they shoot the bullets, like, really, that's what you did for real? Magneto? Yeah, you're shooting bullets and you're making them go one way. But I get what you're saying with, it was still a crazy white guy against a crazy white guy.
Yeah, because you've got to remember, white people are to sniping and serial killing what black people are to basketball. It's just our thing.
It's what you do.
No one can explain it.
It's what you do.
It's what we do.
You made it up.
Yeah.
Well, you also made a basketball, but we took that. We took that from...
Can we have our shit back, please?
We probably would...
That's the history of white people.
We
coming up
probably
with
would
really
have
good
progressed
ideas,
with...
and then everyone just gets better at it.
We would have progressed with sniping and shooting if we didn't have to have a party for self-defense. If we weren't always being so defensive, we would be able to be offensive more. You have great black snipers. Ooh, you imagine? Denzel might have been an actual, not an actor, but a great black assassin.
Denzel scares me.
Remember the Washington sniper?
Ooh. Oh, DC sniper.
Yeah,
there you go.
He cut out like the back of his car to shoot people.
In the trunk. Patrice O'Neal has that joke where he talks about how when he was a white guy, everybody was in terror. They thought he was building his own helicopters and leaving. And then they found out he was a nigga in a Buick. And no one talked about it. No one talked about it after that. Once they found out who was it, we don't care.
But it's the one of the few, like when that Texas shooting went off, right?
Yeah.
And they, so, like, if the news could have come and been like, "Hi, Bob, yeah, I'm here in Texas. 500 people injured. The police are looking for a white male, maybe 55, born again." Sorry, Dave, have we got eyewitnesses? Well, no, Bob, but clearly it's a white male in his 50s that's done this. There's no one else who would do it. Why? You suggest? Come on.
Right, I said
this
that.
is profiling, but it's correct, and it was.
Said the reason why that is because the people who made up the profiling was just old bigoted white guys. The whole FBI, Hoover, they were just old white guys looking for like, well, obviously you gotta be smart like me to do this, so I gotta find. I said there's tons of black serial killers and women. Yeah, there's tons of women serial killers and black. No one's looking for them.
Yeah, but they haven't got quite the flair that we have, you know. Like, look,
yeah, because you got to be quiet with it. That's like from the Black Panthers. Don't be sexy with your.
There's several high-profile black serial killers, right? But like they go and kill like 25 prostitutes. Look, I could go and kill 25 prostitutes now.
They grew up around white guys.
Those black serial
killers.
Dahmer drills a hole in your head, turns you into a sex toy, and when he's done, makes a lampshade out of you. That's next level shit. That's the Michael Jordan of, you know, what are you talking about?
Black serial killers who they're the, you know, when a white guy goes, I have a black friend. That's the black friend. They got 7 white guys and they have 1 black guy with them. That's those black serial killers. I'm talking about real, like. You don't know him because you don't go to the hood. Candyman. We got a black super villain. Candyman is terrifying.
Candyman was terrifying.
Candyman. You know Candyman?
Yeah, look
He opened his mouth and
that's Black Freddy Krueger. He gets you in your dreams and when you're.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there a whole world of like urban black like ghost stories and urban myths that no one knows about?
Yeah, police.
No one ever sees anything.
No one ever sees that. If you hadn't said police, I was telling you to say it. Police, Republicans.
Yeah, all kinds of shit you don't know that's coming.
School teachers.
Yeah. Librarians.
But the point I was making is that, like, with JFK, everyone had to sit around scratching their chin, going, "Well, like, was it maybe? I mean, could it have been?" And that might be speculations. With Freddie, there was a whole host of paperwork all over the country saying we need to neutralise, stop a black messiah. It's all right to tell lies. It's all right to do all sorts of things. What was that? The gang, the Black
Peace Stones.
Right, the Black Peace Stones.
My father and his uncles.
The guy who was like the head guy of it, I think it was Bill Fort. Yeah. Was it Bill Fort?
Yeah.
But they sent you what you've got to read the letter if I can find it as well. They sent a letter to Bill Fort saying the Black Panthers actually were a gang and Freddie Hampton's pulling you, feeding you shit. But when you read the wording, and I think this is what made Bill Fort go, this ain't right. At the end of it, it says, like, yours sincerely from another black brother. And he's like, wait a minute, no black dude's talking to me like that. Yours sincerely from a black brother.
Warmly, they spelled brother with an ER.
Right on, you dig, from a brother. That's what it would have said.
They spelled brother with the ER. It wasn't an A at the end.
Hey,
the fact that they put sincerely.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I'm suspicious about this letter, man. Why? Well, because it's grammatically correct, everything's spelled right.
Cornell West wouldn't put sincerely. Thank you. So I don't know why they thought to do that. No, but that's true. And I talked to my uncle about it because they was all in the Black Peace. They all from Chicago. They was all in the Black Peace Zones, and they just talked about like back then. It wasn't even the gangs. Wasn't even hey, let's fight. It was just our area of protection. This is our block. We just fighting against the police, fighting against other gangs that are like. That's the whole reason the Bloods came because the Crips was just bullying other kids, and they said, well, we got to start our own thing. And so that's what that was. And they go the Black Panthers. First of all, they never even really heard of them except outside of there. And they weren't doing anything except feeding the kids and doing whatever. It wasn't
and bringing those groups together. The young
bringing them together.
Like Peace Stones.
Fred Hampton brought gangs with students, with politicians. He was bringing
white Appalachian groups, everyone.
And that's what I told you when I went to the middle of the country and a white guy was talking. I was asking. I was like, you know, man, I get the guns. My mother has. She has a Magnum, a revolver. She has Desert Eagle for a while. She had a lot of guns.
She's got a Kalashnikov.
She don't play. Yeah, she don't play.
His mum is Sarah Connor in Judgment Day.
She don't play around. But she was like, you know, I'm from the South too, so I'm like, guns is guns. Like, you know, as long as you're not dumb, it ain't gonna do nothing to you. But I get why these, you know, a lot of liberals in the East and North, they get scared. They're just shooting at school. Yeah, but it's not the same thing. And they have to even use that argument as a false equivalency.
Yeah, because if you have a swimming pool, you immediately increase your chance of drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so. But what we do is what they said is it wasn't even this thing with trying to fight back. It was when he was bringing all these people together. That's the dangerous part.
Yeah.
That's the part where everybody goes, wait a minute.
But
they're not killing each other.
Too much power in numbers.
Yeah, but this again, like unlike when you look at maybe something like JFK, you're largely saying things that are highly speculative. You're not doing that with Fred Hampton.
Yeah.
this is like when I talk about when people say about conspiracy theories, a lot of time they're wrong. If you want to get thousands of people to toe the line and do what they're meant to do, you're going to need paperwork, right? And all of these COINTELPRO documents were disseminated. It was clearly written down. I mean, it might as well have said, you know, would you just like stop black people? There's loads of people in prison because of it, and it was. You don't have to take my word for it. This is not an Alex Jones line of thinking. It's a matter of public record. And the reason why, one of the reasons why the court case went kind of a bit haywire and what the defence in the civil case kind of tried to muddle it, because what the outcome of the civil case is just hilarious, is because after these guys broke into the FBI building and found the COINTELPRO papers, they started leaking them. And then John Church, a senator, they started up the Church Commission where they looked into the Watergate scandal, and then John Church expanded it to look at everything the FBI did. So while the trial in 1970 was going on with Fred Hampton, all of this COINTELPRO stuff's coming out. So now it's in the public domain. So, and you can clearly see through the way the trial process, everyone involved started going, right, we've just got a damage limitation exercise here, because there's no way we can hide it and pretend it won't happen.
That's everything. That's how they do it.
That's what, you know, this is not fantasy land. And like the other thing, like, what's his name? Willie O'Neill. Fred Hampton was drugged when he was killed. He was asleep. Someone went in to wake him up and they shook him. They was like, dude, the cops are here. And he just opened his eyes and then went back to sleep. Now, he didn't do drugs. He was rarely seen with a beer. And if you've seen Freddie Hampton talk at all, I don't know the man, but I'm pretty sure if you just tripped over in the hallway, he would have been up and out of the bed like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I don't think he was wired.
He's not sleeping. Let me tell you something. No one's sleeping through gunshots. I know, like, where I'm from, it's like a lullaby to me if I don't hear gunshots and sirens and I can't sleep. It's like, what
North London? Yeah, that's terrible.
No, it's like, you know, you hear birds and fucking bees and shit and fucking crickets. I'm like, that shit is terrible. It sounds like monsters outside. But I need to hear, like, horror and screaming and prostitutes' heels walking
I'm gonna kill that bitch!
Yeah, Jermaine found his wife cheating. But no one sleeps through gunshots, and that's the thing they were saying. And my uncles and my mom and them were saying, they were like, look, what was happening was people were eventually coming together. Yeah, they were in the Black Peace zones. Yeah, they was pimps. Yeah, they was.
But they were coming together again, not speculation.
There was
facts.
No, that's what I'm saying. There was pimps that was doing all that stuff. But even then, here's the dangerous part. This is my uncle told me. He was in a gang, one of the original people in the Black Peace. So this is a terrifying thing to do.
Yeah, they were a serious bunch of dudes.
Big deal. They were even starting to be like, you know what? Maybe this righteous stuff is pretty cool. Maybe we could all come together. And the second you start to get that, you no longer have inner fighting. The inner fighting is what really helped cripple it. So if you don't have any of that going on anymore within the black community or any community, then you can take the feminist movement. There's like the extreme feminists, there's these feminists, there's black feminists, there's some kind of way racist feminists. I don't even know how that works. And there's a bunch of them, but there's so much inner fighting. So the same with the black community, there was so much inner fighting.
Same with all progressive movements. That's their weakness, because they're a conglomeration of everyone.
And so that's what happened. I mean, even my uncle now and my dad and all them, they joined all these like Israelite monasteries and stuff like that. Not the ones
above Sharpton.
Not the ones above Sharpton Church. Not the ones where they're like Beethoven. He was a black man.
Yeah.
Shakespeare. He was a black man.
Black man.
Everyone was black.
Yeah, everybody was black. The white man didn't come for 5,000 years. Since 5,000 years.
If you want to know what that looks like, there's a Louis Theroux episode where he goes to. It's in Harlem, isn't it? Is it in Harlem?
It's in Harlem.
Right, and it's above our and you go in and they're all like on these thrones and they do that whole bit. I mean, it's like an SNL sketch. So Louis Theroux's doing his like inquisitive kind of British bit, and they're like, yeah, so what do you think about Shakespeare? A great play. Yeah, a black man.
They pull these books out, and in the books, it's a black and white sketch. You go, look how much darker he is than the rest of these white people. He got huge. Somebody don't know nothing about shadowing, and you never colored when you was a kid. You never drew a picture, though.
Did you say colored?
With the and they obviously just some dudes who. I appreciate that they are trying something at least uplifting and positive, but it's the whole other way. The one dude I really don't like, and that's the kind of person my mom and uncles, they don't like that kind of guy. Good. And the one bald head dude that hates white people and makes it known. He was in the Louis Theroux one. No, not Farrakhan. The Louis Theroux one.
what? When he went to the restaurant with him, that really dark skinned guy.
Yeah.
He ain't Nation of Islam, though.
Nah, he's just like his own. He got kicked. He was too hardcore.
And he is really hardcore.
It's unnecessarily.
So is he a 5% then?
I think he is. I might be even worse than 5%.
He's worse than 5%. 5%, if you don't know what a 5%er is, 5%er is a group of guys that they call themselves a 5% nation, and they believe that 5% of all black men on earth are actual gods. Not kind of gods, not Hercules, but like actual like gods on earth, right? And that's what they believe. There's a lot of rappers that was actually 5%. Nas used to be a 5%.
No.
Busta Rhymes.
Dead Prez, man, weren't they?
Dead Prez.
I was gutted when you told me that about Dead Prez.
Yeah, a lot of them used to be 5%ers. Yeah, a lot of them used to. I don't know if they still are, but it makes sense when you go back because you listen to them. It's the black guys like, "What up, God?" When they say God to each other, you go, "Oh."
Yeah. God, what up,
yeah,
God?
What up, God? That's what they call each other, God. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, I'm like, yo, you need to relax. I love comic books as much as the next guy. Trust me, if I had the powers of Thor, I would not be sitting here doing a radio show. Like, this is like, if I could tap into it, it'd be real, but
I'd be flying.
A lot of times, too, 5%ers, you like, they just...
They're not gods. They can't even write.
It's bad.
Plus they go shit.
They go
what?
shit.
Plus they go shit.
Yeah.
What's that? What do you mean?
God don't go shit.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they don't take a shit. They shit. God don't shit.
So you're a god, yeah? Yeah. Do you need the bathroom? Yeah, I kind of do. Right, there, you're gonna go. You're not God.
Yeah, you gotta drink. It's a lie. It's like the 5%.
And I don't know if it's true, but fun, since you brought that up, I haven't had a shit in 22 years, so maybe I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying.
The 5%ers is the 5%ers somebody else that believes in Yakub Jacob, who was an evil black scientist 5,000 years ago, who invented white people.
Yeah.
Look up Yakub.
Don't make stuff up, you fucking
I'm gonna show you Yakub right now.
The leader went to prison, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I'm gonna show you Yakub right now. Why
are you making shit up?
No.
Are you trying to?
No, seriously.
Look up
these two guys.
Yakub right now.
This is a two-man black conspiracy to make me look stupid. They want me to just go, yeah, like I don't know. I'm credulous, dudes. I'm not suffering that.
What?
You need to provide some evidence.
No.
They
They tried to induct me into this group when you're young, when you go into like the conscious group.
Wait a minute. So what?
Yeah, read it.
Yakub, Nation of Islam. Yakub is a figure in the beliefs of the Nation of Islam. According to beliefs, the races other than the black race were byproducts of Yakub's. You gotta read the whole thing, goddammit. You read the whole thing, because I can't work iPhones. I just refuse to. I just break out in a rash.
No, it's just Yakub. So basically, Yakub was a black scientist who lived 6,600 years ago.
That's very specific.
Yeah. And he began the creation of the white race. He said that's done this.
That backfired, didn't it?
Yeah. That's the selective form of breeding referred as graph, right? This is who they are. Obviously, scientific consensus rejects this guy. This is ridiculous, but that's what it is. Nation of Islam. All them. It's not just Nation of Islam. What's his name? 5%ers, Hebrew Israelites, a lot of them. And he goes, right now it goes, under its current leader, Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam continues to assert that the story of Yakub is true.
You serious?
Listen, I'm telling you.
See, this is the real
Yo,
problem,
Jay-Z put it in a line in that Jay Electronica song. He said, I'm ready to send Yakub back to the cave. And everyone doesn't know what that is. And I go, Jay-Z, like, he's a 5%.
Is Jay-Z a 5%?
He used to be, I don't know if he still is. No one would rap about Yakub if you weren't.
Yeah. See, here's the lesson in this, kids. It ain't, whatever the problems are, do you know what the real problem is? If you look from the ground up, we are all fucking surrounded by crazy people.
Yeah.
It's crazy people. Someone said to me the other day, I'd be like, yeah, I know, well, not I know, but like Jacob Rees-Mogg, you know, he makes some good points. I mean, I don't care if he makes some good points. The dude's crackers. He's absolutely crackers. I won't let him park my car, let alone represent me in any. Like, he's not so.
Yeah.
You know, and then you give them special dispensation because they've got like a Savile Row suit on and they're on the telly. Yeah. You've got to stop this nonsense.
Listen.
But anyway, so you've got to. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but anyway, so the civil court goes through. Look, this whole thing ends up taking 13 years before it's resolved, right? And they go to court, and one of the problems is the judge, I think he's called John Joe Perry. Now, I don't think he was necessarily had a word spoken in his ear by the FBI, but he just flatly refused. This miserable old white guy refused to accept in any situation that there could be some kind of conspiratorial effort on the part of the states. They tried to have him, I think the word would be impeached afterwards, because several people gave statements saying, yeah, even during the trial, I was golfing with him, he was like, yeah, the plaintiffs, what they're talking about, the FBI COINTELPRO to stop a black Messiah, this is all nonsense. That is not a judge's job. His job is to sit there, shut the fuck up and see what the evidence is. Yeah, also, this guy, as transparent, he used to go into court with sunglasses on, so he could have a snooze during, like, people making arguments. You know, this whole thing was a shit show from the top. But the most important thing is, this is what you got to remember. This is why it's open and shut, and this is everyone's history, all right? That's what's important about this. This is not about black people struggling in America or civil rights. This is also our government using clearly. This is not speculation. This is the most conservative, restrained, charitable interpretation. A program, an overt program running through government, allowing and encouraging the encouragement of using the police to act as fucking hit squads and threatening, and saying, not only are we doing this, could you please keep it secret?
You know what it's like? It's like a bear hunt.
Yeah.
It's like a sanctionized fox or bear hunt.
Yes.
We got the bear population is out of control. Wait a minute.
That's wicked. That's wicked.
Hold on. Bears fuck to make more bears. That's what they're supposed to do. We out of control. We're moving into that. There's too many bears. You're free to go kill some bears.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Do you know what? That ain't even a clumsy analogy.
No,
that's not a bad analogy
that's
at
what
all.
it is. And the same thing, what I was saying earlier, it's a guy, the guy in Middle America, I'm out there with my buddies, and we're sitting there, we're at this bar, it's a very hick bar, very like redneck bar, and we're sitting there. And no one's being racist, we're drinking, we're talking. And I'm talking to this one guy, my mate, and we're making jokes and stuff. And we look over to this guy, and I end up having a conversation with this guy. And I was just like, the gun thing. I was like, I'm used to guns. He was like, oh, you're not like one of these liberals. I was like, no, man, I'm not fading that. I said, when you get rid of guns legally, criminals not gonna go turn their guns in. Plus, that's not the thing. The thing is that there's an anger, maybe there's a trauma issue, maybe there's a mental health issue in the States that's less to do with that. Because you get rid of guns, kids gonna start blowing each other up. Like, get rid of one way to kill somebody, they're gonna be very inventive and creative. They ain't got nothing but time on their hands and anger, right?
Yeah, if
and
someone's disposed that way, they're not gonna go, oh, well.
Oh, no way for me to shoot, so I'm just, that's it. And,
it.
But the guy told me, he goes, well, why would I ever want to get rid? He said, our guns and our compounds are anti-government. They just did and I'll talk about this after. He goes, why would I want to get rid of my guns? Look how they do you, and you live next door to them. He's a white guy. He said, look how they do black people. Hick white guy was like, they do you, and you don't have guns. Imagine if we didn't have any. They do the same thing to us. They don't come fuck with us because we can shoot just like they can shoot. And we protect ourselves. They did that. They had a standoff in Portland, Oregon with these.
Yeah.
And they stood there with guns, and the cops was like, well, this is a draw because they can shoot probably better than us.
Yeah.
And we don't leave them alone. They was like, just leave us the fuck alone. We don't leave us alone. And they left them alone.
And we said last time it worked with the Black Panthers.
Worked with the Black Panthers.
It worked.
That's the point.
It actually worked.
The rates of police abuse went down when the Black Panthers stood, and they observed the law. They open carried and stood at a safe observable distance, and it went down. And we said last week, you've only got two conclusions here. Either black people started behaving themselves, or the cops thought, yeah, maybe I shouldn't fucking beat this dude up.
Drag this guy on a truck and beat him. Yeah, like that's all it is.
We'll just catch them when no one's looking.
Yeah.
But just to finish this up, because really, just read the book and look into it, because it's so ridiculous for us to cover it, you just couldn't do it. There's loads of wranglings in the trial, they're trying to stop that, because there was no bullet holes from the Black Panthers towards it. It was absolutely clear as day that they went in, these coppers lied about their testimony, then reneged on it during the court, which is a typical lawyerly thing to do. What you can do is you can gas the jury, which is you can bore them to tears.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well, most of the jury were not, let's say, demographically fair.
Right.
So this whole thing goes on for, I think, 18 months. The jury get deadlocked, and the judge comes out and says, like after a couple of times, right, can you make a decision? They're like, no, we can't. So what you can do in these legal cases, you can direct, what is it called, a jury. You can direct them to when they're deadlocked.
Yeah.
So he says, okay, neither of these guys have actually proved their case. So I award that the plaintiffs have to pay the defendants because it's not been true.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, just basically. I mean, we can't do it justice here because we'd be here for hours and it would stop being fun. You'd just be crying and you'd end up like getting a bottle of gin and opening a window and leaping out of it. But read it. Yeah, I've got a bottle. Should we do that? It's just thank you, friend.
What's the time is it?
But really, honestly, And trust me, look, I am no right-on guy. I don't fucking like anyone. I have no feelings for the plight. I have no feelings specifically for the plight of the brown, yellow, torch short or white. I don't give a fuck, but you know, this is what it is. I want
people here so I can have more things. I like having space and air conditioning. I can have better air conditioning if you stop having babies. Stop with the babies. It's enough for it. It's enough already.
We need to park. Yeah. But anyway, this goes on again. They appeal. It goes back to district court in '79, I think, and it culminates that in about 1982, which is a typical thing for the state to do. They gas you out and they go, look, let's not make a big deal out of it. You know, it's done now. They award all of the plaintiffs about $692,000 apiece, and it all goes away. But really, what that is an attempt to, like, if you take you sue me and you take an out of court, yes, it is. If you take an out of court settlement from me, right, that means that whatever the problem was doesn't go on the statute books, doesn't get entered into law. So it's always a bad thing to do. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I've got an excerpt from it because it's hilarious. But so now after what COINTELPRO does, there was so many. I just got sick of looking into Black history. I just felt like I was turning into some like I nearly joined the Nation of Islam by the end of last week. I'm bored. I spent so much.
We need to definitely need to get the dashiki. And we need to get him a mohawk too now.
But there were so many, you know, clearly innocent. Well, not clearly innocent. Black people in jail. That you have to take seriously that it was the result of COINTELPRO. It got boring.
Listen, we're not doing Law 8.
No, we're not.
We're not release all black.
No, we're not doing Law 8 from last week. That was hilarious.
We're not doing that, Jesus.
But what was hilarious is that all of this provoked what I said earlier, the Weather Underground, which is a bunch of very middle class, as Fred said, well-meaning white people that...
Well, wait, American middle class.
American middle class.
Because English middle class is like our high class. Or like
of course, look, I've told you this before. At the time of colonialism and imperialism, we are market leaders. We won.
Because if you say
that was a tough race. Let me tell you, everyone gets upset with us. We weren't the only ones looking to dominate and subjugate the world, mate. There was some stiff competition from the Dutch, the French, the Spanish. We come out on top.
And the Portuguese.
The Portuguese,
who are three?
And they were like,
you just named the three lazy. Those are lazy ones. That's a lazy colonial.
This is why. Do you know why they didn't succeed? Because the weather's too good in their country. That's why we were strongly incentivized to go somewhere north.
That's what I said. I said hungry. I
said
that last week. I was like, y'all ain't had no food. Like Portuguese was like, oh, pig. Food. You guys were like, oh, 6 years.
All they could do is go to Ireland and get potatoes.
Black plague and shit. I'd be hard to do.
But this is the thing. So you got all this COINTELPRO stuff go on. The Weather Underground. Their slogan is "Bring the war home." They take up arms. They go around. Now they don't kill anyone, but they blow up untold public buildings. They're on the run for like 11, 12 years. It gasses out, so they all hand themselves in. And they couldn't indict anyone. But here's the reason. You're gonna love this. The reason why they didn't indict is because the state said, well, we would indict them, but you know, what with the actions of COINTELPRO and the FBI, we have to kind of accept that there was some extrajudicial and illegal stuff that went on, so we can't really prosecute them. And it's like, Mumia Al-Jabbar must have been bouncing around his cell going, what the fuck?
Yeah, he must have been pissed.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a theory to explain this. Go with me here.
Interesting.
It's my own theory, and I've coined a term for it.
Okay.
It's called racism. What do you think? No, it's 2 syllables.
You just assassinated yourself.
Do you know what? Do you know where I worked it out? You might not have spotted this, right? Because I'm sharp. Do you know what I saw? I was watching all these people, and they were all. You're gonna have missed this. They were all some kind of brown. No one noticed it, and I swear.
That's a wild theory.
That is a wild theory.
You sound like a maniac.
Yeah, you really do.
I'm telling you right now, you need help.
I think I need to call police.
How could it be racist? That's an interesting thing you brought up. That's like I don't understand.
You've not heard of that? It's a great theory.
No, man. It's like
not where I'm from. Not where I'm from.
I've never heard of this. This is crazy.
I'm telling you. You'll see.
I'll look into it, but I mean, I've never seen anything about that.
Yeah. I'm not used to seeing brown people. Last time I saw one was when I looked in the mirror.
I didn't notice until I looked into it. I was like,
I eat hummus, so I exclusively hang around that white.
At first I thought, is it they're blonde? There's no blondes. what could it be? And they all talk. It's like,
lucky,
wait a minute.
You're lucky there was a lot of food in Africa because otherwise your last name might be Daniel and Butu. Like, we would have won that shit. You know how many Africans there were back then?
Do you know what? I've nearly got an African name because my full name is Daniel William Allen Christopher John. If you listen to
That's a
something
Nigerian name.
That is a Nigerian. It's Mbutu, Mkumkwele, Mlala, Mtisati, Mtulo,
Only Ghanaians have 7 names.
Cincinnati. Yes.
Cincinnati. You say Cincinnati?
It sounds the same as the place, but it's not. You're so fucking ignorant. Anyway.
Cincinnati.
So
What you got?
we've got Root Down.
Okay.
And we're gonna play this because we need to smoke break. Enjoy it!
That's what we do.
Yeah, baby.
Let's play a song. Then we're gonna break for the song.
Yeah, this happen. There's lots of stuff on this station. It's all like, I don't even like a lot of it, but that's not the point. It's different, it's new, and that's what we want to hear. So they're doing a wonderful thing here. So by listening and supporting, you're doing a good thing. You're a good person. You can be sanctimonious for a week just because you listen to this stuff.
You don't
so
have to
big
worry
up
about.
to Freddie and Lee and John and Chris and all the other guys
there. You don't have to give money to any charities anymore. You listen. That's good.
Yeah.
You're helping somebody.
So big up New River Studios 199 Radio because it's doing a wonderful thing. Keep this thing alive. Listen, spread the word.
I mean, they gave me and this other delinquent, 2 delinquents, something to do. On
Yeah.
Now a third one.
Now
I call
an
myself a misfit.
actual ex-person.
An ex-con.
Ex-con. Ty-con.
Yeah.
He's got more street cred than us.
Combined.
I'm not.
And
yeah.
we've done some shit. You know what it is? Our shit was intentional.
Yeah.
Our shit was let's go out and cause mayhem and chaos. His was I just want to have a nice peaceful. This is why
I just want to do salute to the sun.
This is how you know karma and the balance. You be like, oh, maybe this is not the way we perceive it because the East perceives karma as. Is what I was taught coming up. My martial arts teacher taught me this coming up. He said Eastern karma is not checks and balances.
No, it's not.
It is that there is just a particular balance that exists. It's good and bad. It's not like just when people go, oh, you did something bad. Now karma's gonna come back and get you. Then explain Donald Trump. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. Western karma is checks and balances. So in a Western karmic sense, you were doing the right thing and something happened to you, right? It's just me and Daniel. It's just, I'm surprised that we're alive at this point.
Me too.
I'm surprised we still have arms.
Well, then, like, karma must have me way down on the list because I've done loads of shit and nothing's happened yet. Everything's going fine.
But in the traditional sense, karma actually just means action in the Sanskrit or Hindu pretext. Because it's your action brings consequences. So whatever your choices are, that's what your karma is.
That's what your karma
That's
is.
the original meaning of karma is. It's just the Western philosophy has changed it to like what you give is what you get. No, it's your actions and your choices that lead to your decisions and your life experience.
So let me ask you this: when you were there though, before prison, before all that stuff, did you have a good time?
I had a beautiful time.
Thank you. Oh
prison.
God, I would feel so bad.
Prison.
See, this is why I like him, because he can find. I get mad if I come too fast. Like, I get mad if I go.
I get mad in traffic. You've been in the
Yeah, well, I get mad in traffic. I'm not even driving. I'm mad I'm out of drink right now. He was like, I still had a good time, even in prison. Yeah. I'm legitimately upset that I ran almost out of alcohol. He's just like, no, I had a good time in life, and that's what made me. I'm glad that you had a good time. Did you go? You got your meditation done, and everything was good.
I'm glad you went to prison.
But I did have some crazy experiences. Like when I was in Bangkok the second time, I went to a ping pong show, and I recommend everyone don't go to the ping pong show if you ever go to Thailand, because when I was there, like I have to do this because we're on video. But when I was there and there was a lady, an older lady that looked like she was hooked up on opium. And she pulled like, I want everyone to see like these lights up here, like these kind of Christmas lights out of a vagina. Yeah, and then wrapped it around 4 poles and then hung herself upside down. But not only that, she had a Coke bottle. You see them old glass Coke bottles with the like what you
she popped the top.
Yeah, she popped the top with her vagina and it splattered in my face.
Oh my God.
In my face, like right under my eye.
Yeah, that's actually turning.
Okay, we're gonna have to take a quick wank break.
That's hot. I don't care who you are. That is some sexy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my wildest time. One of my wildest times in Asia was in an opium den. Me and my buddy was like, okay, we're here. I want to see what the fuss is about. I can tell you this right now. Done some drugs. Done pretty much all of them except meth and crack. I haven't done crack or meth or anything like that. But don't do opium. And not because it's bad, but because it's awesome.
Awesome.
It is awesome. It is awesome.
I can see why you would get
tell you, man,
addicted
when I was in hospital,
don't do opium unless you want to become an opium.
I was in hospital.
I've had it too.
And I was in hospital with a collapsed lung, right? And when they had to pop up a spike in my chest to expand my lung, there was a bit of mess in the hospital. And they had to give me an opium derivative for the pain, right? Which would have been fine. But there was a bit of a mess up, and they gave me opium, and then another nurse came in and didn't know that I'd been given it and gave me another shot of opium. So I got doubled up on opium.
Wow.
And I can tell you now, if that is anything like what the real deal is,
yeah.
I was like,
because
yeah,
I had
I
surgery.
could throw my life.
I had surgery.
Away.
They had to remove a mass out of my chest. I had surgery here, and they put the same
that
thing.
stuff is
and
wicked.
I was like, this is opium again. I can't. And it's beautiful.
And then after that, I had the little when they give you the button for the drip, so that to deal with the pain.
So you just press it.
Yeah, I was just sitting there, going click, 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 click. I'm out. Nurse, I'm out.
Well, I didn't have it like you guys. When I was in Thailand, I was just like, fuck it, I'll experiment. And then I
smoked it in Asia.
Oh no, I just took a bit like freshly picked and then rubbed it on. And then I was like, oh damn, this is like weed. Oh damn, I feel good. I feel so relaxed.
You start to sing.
I was like,
if you can't sing, he's doing the opium sink. You do that. Heroin is a lean forward.
Yeah.
Opium is a lean back.
I saw someone, take heroin, and they was like, oh damn, they like went into anaphylactic shock after taking heroin.
In opium, you don't feel bad at all. That's the problem.
Do you know what the misery?
Yeah,
the misery of heroin? There's a guy right online. I don't mind him actually. He's called Chris Dangerfield, and he's just written a book called The Coldest Man in Baton, right? And he had a massive heroin problem. Yeah. And the problem with heroin is largely like getting it and who you have to deal with. And he's over in he's in Thailand, right? I don't like these books. I don't like these books about drug use. It's all a bit boring. So recording was a great time. It was a bad time, but actually the bit that I heard him read from his book was hilarious and kind of sad, where he talks about the fucking state he gets in, and he goes out in Patong and he gets on the back of this motorcycle cabbie and he goes to this place and he's so desperate and he gets some shit and it's actually not heroin, it's something else, and he gets it. But the whole misery of it is to do with being addicted and not being able to get it. Whereas when you talk to people who can actually easily access good heroin, they have nothing but good things to say.
Probably come with that brown meth. They do that a lot out there. Yeah. I will say this: Thailand, it's not a cesspool of crime. There are parts that happens. But really, when you go on a nice holiday, have a group of friends. Anywhere you go, like you're an idiot if you go. You're an idiot if you go to Stockholm by yourself.
Oh, I went to Thailand by myself until now.
Yeah, look what happened.
Yeah. You go with people and you go with a group and you stay with the group and you don't make friends. Meaning, don't take your girlfriend who makes friends with everyone. Just
that's me. That's
what I mean. That is a life.
Sit down. If you have that.
And even if it's not a girl, if you've got one of them friends that thinks everyone's alright, fuck that person. They're dangerous. They're gonna get us all.
That's
killed.
okay. That's me.
If there's a war and we're in the trenches, I'm gonna fucking kill you as you're a risk to everyone else. I just Phil, if you don't want to do it, just look the other way. Just pretend it didn't happen. When I come back, it's just gonna be quiet.
At least I lived a full life.
He's like, the zombies are okay. The zombies are nice. If they just need to Jason, no! No, man, it's, go.
Get back in the car, Jason! Jason! Get back in the car!
Thailand's amazing. All of Southeast Asia is beautiful. It makes the food is incredible.
Hey, I ain't been, but I've just listened to you two. It looks like this is what you get in Thailand: kung fu, opium, and prison. So
and
fuck
good
Thailand.
And good food. Good food.
Oh yeah, because good food's exclusive to Thailand.
No, it's nothing. I've never eaten in a place that was
amazing out there.
I've never eaten in a place.
Never been to
And
France.
you've got so many free-spirited people there.
Oh,
the whole world
they
goes
sound
to Thailand.
wonderful.
The whole world goes to Thailand.
That's what you do. Go watch this movie. It's Only God Forgives. It's yes.
Oh,
there you go. Chris knows.
No, even Chris.
It's good. Chris knows.
What is this?
It's Only God Forgives. It's a movie. Okay, you know the movie Drive?
Yeah.
The same guy who did Drive did it. It's also starring. Yeah, it's also starring. What's his name?
Ron Gosling.
Ron Gosling. It's also starring Ron Gosling. But what's the director's name?
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Nicholas what?
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Winding Refn.
Watch it.
Yeah.
So go watch it. It's basically what Thailand is like with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful place, but if you do the wrong thing, it ain't like here where you might be able to reason with someone. No, you're going to pay the actual price. Yeah. And it's more realistic. For my time, I was in Thailand for a while, a couple of months. It's more realistic to
my aunt lived out there, and she lived out there.
Yeah, it's more realistic to that, and it is a great. First of all, shot beautiful. The cinematography, Chris, it's amazing, and it's a good story. It's you pay the price when you fuck up, and there's no hero in it. There's no this magical, yay, we saved the day. No, this is what happens when you're an asshole.
Yeah.
This is Big Lebowski. Here's what happens when you fuck a stranger
in the ass.
You see what happens, Larry?
You see, Larry?
What happens when you fuck?
My aunt said that like it was lovely where she lived just outside of I can't remember, just outside of where she said like you go to the bar and just outside one of the bars or the restaurants there'd be someone sitting there like cross-legged beaten up with their hands up because they'd stolen something and had to sit there all day, you know, because if they moved they get big head like.
Yeah, but again,
like the hands.
Yeah, but again when you
again when you go, a bit of relativism. Hey, they didn't shoot.
Again when you go, it's just along the scenery, man. I was on the beach. We were training. We were doing martial arts, but I was on the beach. I was like, this is just. I don't even want to do this. I want to hang out with these elephants. This is amazing.
It is
but
beautiful.
then you go and you go just like any city. You go into the city. You go, oh, don't fuck up. Don't steal. Malaysia, spit some gum on the ground and see what happens.
Yeah.
Spit some trash on the ground and get flogged. And then the one boy tried to call Obama to help him, the white boy, the parents.
You're on your own, son.
He said, I can't help you with that. You took a sign down. He wanted a sign and they beat him in the square.
That was in North Korea.
No, that's in
that guy who took the poster down was North Korea.
Okay, so no, other Malaysia.
Come on, man, listen, I'm all for fairness, but you went to North Korea and took it. Of course, it's North Korea.
Somebody got flogged in the Malaysian square too, so another fuck up.
But you know that.
Pickpocket someone in Malaysia.
Oh my God. You like having hands?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want hands anymore. I want a hook. Oh, go to Malaysia, take something out of someone's pocket. See what happens. It's not a game. It's one of those things where there is no universal law. Like there's no law. There's just law of nature, and people abide by what they make up. And you go with your preconceived notions of, oh man, in my country we do this. Guess where the fuck you ain't?
Your
Guess where you ain't?
Did you know when you should have worked that out? When you got off the fucking plane,
you today. I smiled all the time. Hell yeah, I'll take that. That's how I work. I'll take it anyway.
You don't even have to go that far. Like, I used to go to Spain a lot. You know, I used to go there all the time. You've got the police and the Guardia Civil. Do you know what I mean? The way they police is not the same over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people would go over there, especially stupid British people. They're like, fucking hell, like the Guardia. They just like that. I think it's either the police or the Guardia. They pulled me up, just threw my papers in the air. It's like, because that's how it is. You're not in Kansas anymore, man. You're not there anymore.
You gotta learn that lesson sometimes. And then I've been to a lot of places, and I'm just like, okay. Let me look up the laws. And there's silly stuff like don't blink too fast.
Yeah.
You should just know that because you expect people to know that when they come here.
Yeah.
You expect people to know that when they come in. Imagine this.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't do it, you get upset. Same thing. You're supposed to know that when you come in. It ain't hard.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're in any doubt, take it from Uncle Dan. Here's a good axiom for life. If you're anywhere and you don't know the rules, just say nothing, act casual. That's a fucking rule.
That's what I do.
Say nothing, act casual.
Yeah.
I do whatever.
Fine.
If I see a Thai man doing it, I'm doing it.
Same. Yeah.
That's it.
Straight.
Oh, we can do that?
Okay, cool.
Do that. He was doing it. Officer, he was doing Asifa. Please don't be.
Asifa.
Don't get me. I don't want to go with roaches in prison.
Prison
roaches is not to be
No,
fucked.
they're
Prison roaches is a different. That's a different breed. That's a different breed of roach.
Did you wake up in the morning and you'd look over and you'd see like a row of roaches like doing a kata going, hey, hey,
literally.
Literally. Just kicking twigs with their 8 shins.
They had turf wars with the rats.
I don't care where you go in the world, all cockroaches are Hispanic. Hey man, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Like I said, they had turf wars with the rats.
You go to Thailand, you have to remember no one could take them for a long time because no one could beat them up.
Yeah.
This is before guns, and so this is centuries of being able to just whoop ass.
That's why they were called Siam.
Muy Baran,
The land of the fairies. See,
those
that's where I'd be wrong. If someone said, Gerald, we're going to invade the land of the fairies. Sounds like a pushover. Just send 5. I'd have been all too much trouble.
Dude, Muy Baran, Muay Thai, Salapatan, these martial arts are not to be. Watch The Raid. The guy who did the choreography for The Raid is a well-known actual martial artist.
Or just watch some Muay Thai. I mean, that stuff is...
No, but don't watch UFC.
No, actually.
Yeah, go to Thailand and actually watch Muay Thai.
Because there's no... You know what they do?
When I was 16,
they send 2 fighters and they run into each other and they keep hitting until one falls. They don't do
there's
the back
no
up and try to figure out what you're doing.
What's the name of that guy, the top guy?
The really dark one. Yeah, I saw that guy. I don't know his name, but that guy's a...
If you're into, you have to look into it because he goes around.
Just put this up. Best
Best type
fighter.
right.
He's a really dark skinned type.
Yeah,
guy.
it looks like fucking like caramel. You know,
Yeah,
like,
very dark, super dark.
But
He
he's
is a
terrifying.
monster.
Yeah.
He's like 4 foot nothing.
Oh yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
made
Yeah,
of
he's
steel.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
I don't know if you've ever happened to you, but like if you've not been in a fight, it's not happened to you. A rib shot don't look like much, but trust me, let me tell you something,
hurts.
man.
Oh.
If you cop one of these things to the ribs,
Dude, I'm
You're
missing.
done.
I'm
You're
missing
done.
a bone here, right there. You see, from my martial arts teacher, just doing a quick knee like that.
oh, it's
'Cause I was sassy.
agony.
Remember these guys
Gone.
kick trees for a
Yeah, they
living.
kick trees.
And break them.
That's the training we were doing.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, bind the tree. My teacher
If
was
you
like, okay,
cop
this is
one
what
of
you
them-
kick tree. You
Yeah.
kick the tree and you do strength with like the rocks and stuff. It was the most intense training I've ever
I
done.
watched the
But I
fight.
get it.
Yeah.
I watched a fight with a fight with Bass Rutten in the early days of like the mixed right, and he does this. He's fighting this guy, and he turns his right outside ankle out so he can put a lot of power into like a left side
The
kick.
torque.
And the guy, and
It's a whip.
the guy lifts his right arm up, and Bass Rutten just plants his shin into his rib cage. Listen, when it happened, as it hit him, I just burst into tears. I
'Cause you know the pain.
I was like, oh.
I'll tell you
It's
this.
just if you've never been hit in the rib cage, I'm telling you, man, it's next level.
I'll tell you a
If
quick
you're a
story.
guy, think about being kicked in the balls. That's how it is.
But worse. I'll tell you a quick story.
I would say it's worse
I
because
think it's worse.
it's horrible for a while, but then it goes
Your
away.
balls will numb.
Yeah.
Your
And
ribs don't
a
numb.
rib,
Yeah,
a
they
rib
don't.
shot. You're talking. The last time I got a rib
It's
injury,
fractured.
how
Yeah.
long do you reckon it took to get better?
Oh,
6 months.
And it,
Months.
Six
and it
months.
can puncture a lung as well.
Yeah.
Same time.
And I've had a punctured lung
I'll
as well.
tell you
That
this quick
stuff.
story, and we do some promo stuff. So in training, went to do martial arts, what they call expos, where we do demonstrations. My teacher and I would do crazy demonstrations. We did some arts that everybody doesn't necessarily do all the time, right? And so we're doing these demonstrations. We're there. There's 20 guys on the list. I was a top guy because I had the most training. These guys are hyping me up, like, oh, you're so good. We saw you train. You're so fast, and this. I was like, yeah. And I'm getting this ego, this big ass ego, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking great. Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm amazing. And my martial arts teacher was like, you're not that great. You need to relax. Okay, and I'm like, no, you don't know. These guys know me, whatever. They're literally bringing me water, bringing me Powerade. I was like, they should be, because I kick all these guys' asses. I didn't realize there was another list of 20 that we didn't see, which was 20 women. And
damn.
one day we're training, and all I hear is it sounds like a woman who's training a young girl, and I'm watching her today, not hanging up, holding it with this girl. When you kick something, you move. She wasn't moving at whatever, blah, blah, blah. This older woman from before. This older woman's father, this woman is about 70. Her father was one of the people who helped train the Thai military back in his day.
Wow.
Right? So this is a big fucking deal. And this is before women were allowed to do really anything out there. So the fact that he even trained her had to be some covert shit. So I'm like, okay, who you want me to fight? I'm gonna beat him up. Anybody? He goes, no, it's gonna be her. I'm like, you ain't gonna fight the girl, dude, whatever. Get to it, we're sparring and doing whatever. I get into a position. The first hit I didn't see. I felt it, and she hit me right there, and it was a foot, and she kicked me, and I fell down. I said, okay, she really want to fight. So I got her, and I jabbed her, and I hit her hard, and she backed up, and she said,
You brute.
she goes, oh, you're good. I hit her with everything I had, and I was like, oh shit. And that's when I knew that was it. She proceeded to whip my fucking ass. Like, to this day, people go, oh, never judge a book by its cover. I'm like, no, for real. Because she kicked me in my goddamn ribs. And I'm talking about when all the...
It's horrible.
The wind
Even
knocked
talking
out.
about it
When
now
they say
makes
get
me cringe.
it was like someone took. My doctor was like, when I went home, I had bruises. He was like, did someone hit you with a baseball bat? Like what? I said, no, someone kicked me.
Well,
He
it
said-
is. If someone
he
kicks
said,
you like that, it
"Ooh."
is.
But the kick, because she, I was like, what you want me to use? I know a couple of styles. She's like, whatever you want to do. It's the kick that she was doing is one of the main Muay Baran kicks, which is like a crocodile's tail. It's like a whip, so it's a torque like that. She positioned her foot, and when I saw her do that, I said, "Oh, here it comes." I'm talking about when it hit me. I didn't fall. I couldn't breathe,
Oh, it's
and when you can't
horrible.
breathe, you panic. So
Yeah.
I was panicking, so I'm holding this, and then she just clocked me. This big, this big, jacked, this big. I'm just like, don't do it. And that's just a lesson in ego, a lesson in karma, a lesson in fucking just watch your mouth as well.
True.
What we've been talking about this whole time. Plugs.
Yeah.
Give them your social.
I'm Agent Soulman, so that's Agent Soulman across all platforms on all social medias, including YouTube. That will have my podcast on there, and also all podcasts.
And you just did a show
on Tuesday, June 12th, I did the Soulman Experience, which was a variety show.
Which was an experience.
Which was
an
amazing.
amazing experience.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing
You're working
show.
on your next one?
Yep, working on next comedy shows. July 2nd, we've got Emily's Bar, and we've got
July the 5th. It's the 5th.
July 5th, sorry. We've got Emily's Bar, and which is in
Who we got on
Newington. On there, we've got Filio Huff, we've got Dan, Uncle Dan, who is here now. We've got, well, I've got to go with what you say. Yeah, man, Uncle Snoop. And then we got Christopher Savage, Man Like Branches. He's big on socials. We've got Jay Hanley, White Jesus. And we've got Variety D, who's a mix-up of everything. And we've got Matt Harrison, Matt the Comedian.
And I think Joe Grant.
Joe Grant.
The Human Car Park.
That show is a workout show, so
Yeah.
you're gonna get to see behind the scenes of how comedians develop jokes. They'll be able to sit there with their notebooks and phones and kind of crowdsource
Yeah,
and
it's an
work out the new
interactive
material.
thing, man. The last time we done it, it's a load of fun. If
It's
you
only
come
about 6
down.
or so comedians. Everybody's doing about 15 minutes, 20 minutes a piece. It's gonna be nice.
It is nice. It really is. It's like it's fun. It's actually fun.
It really is.
And Jason's gonna be here a couple times, man. He might start producing the show for us a little
I
bit.
think we should have Jason here
It'd be
regularly.
nice, yeah, because Jason's.
But you're gonna have to get arrested and incarcerated at least like once a month.
We got
now.
Tonight.
So I'm gonna have to grass you up to all my
Yeah.
white copper mates.
Tonight,
we're
comedy
doing
on, yeah.
comedy.
Yes,
Both of these
comedy
guys
on
are
tonight.
On tonight.
Yeah, Shoreditch. Everyone,
Shoreditch, the Brick Lane.
Brick Lane. What is
yeah.
it? 1001 Brick Lane.
Cafe 1001, yeah.
Cafe 1001.
Everyone get yourself down there if you want to see
Coming down.
some hilarious
Dan and I are
comedy.
both going on. That's
These guys are hilarious.
Yeah, Brandon Palmer. He's gonna be
hosting. Yeah,
He's hosting,
Brandon's
so it's gonna be
amazing.
good.
Really, guys, honestly, should come down tonight. It's a great room. It's really
It's gonna be
comfortable.
good,
It's a
yeah.
cool
Yeah.
place, easy to get to,
Good vibes.
and even if I say so myself, we're fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
We are.
Honestly.
I mean, you just listen to us for 2 hours.
I'm not like a musician. We're not like musicians, comedians. You know, we don't get to go. No, I really like my song. A bunch of people laugh when I open my mouth, so that's how I know.
Yeah.
I do. I must admit.
Fair.
So yeah. Well, look, there we go. Look, we've discussed Freddie Hampton. That was the close bit. Next week, so you know, I've got a great tune we can close out. But next week, Jason's going to be here with us. We're going toe to toe. We're fucking going to. This is a Titan against a Titan about 9/11. We're going to discuss 9/11. Listen, look me in my eye. Look in the white of my eye. I'm going to not take no fucking nonsense.
Double.
Listen.
I love these guys.
It's happening. It's going to be so good.
It will
Because
be.
we are opposing sides, but not too far.
No,
we're
we're
going
not.
to. It's
It's
honestly,
about mechanics.
I have
yes,
to
it's
be
about
here.
the
mechanics.
I have
Yeah.
to be here. I have to be here
It's
for
gonna
this
be
one.
I don't know what, the thing I'm going to be referencing, so you know, the thing I'm going to be referencing, because there's a lot of stuff out there, but what I'm going to be mostly talking about is, if you want to listen to it before you come out, is an Adam Curtis documentary called The Power of Nightmares that talks about the shape.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah, it talks about Saeed Qutb and the Leo Strauss guys and the Project for a New American Century. That's where I'm coming from to
I'm
explain
coming
it.
from.
You're coming from
Fuck
nonsense,
the government.
right?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, right.
fuck the American government. And also, just Google this: Patrice O'Neill, Anthony Cumia, 9/11.
Yeah,
And just watch those
a
videos.
known, respected fucking
Watch-
academic authority.
I don't care about the
Jesus fucking
academic
Christ.
blah. I'm talking about
Jesus
what the
Christ.
government would do. Fuck them.
So-
I live here now. I can say that.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
I'm not saying anything till next
No.
week. I'm just so
so
excited
next
already.
week, it's gonna be the first episode where you have to check us for weapons when we come in, because
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
taking
it's
no
gonna be good.
nonsense.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Just for disclaimers, I never carry any weapons. Please understand. I never carry any weapons.
Just for
Only to be
disclaimers,
searched.
I'm strapped 24/7. Be fucking careful, because honestly, my flash to bang time is like 1.5 seconds. Alright, so
Wow.
be fucking careful.
I've already shot at both of them.
You're like a Porsche out here. Not to 60
Shot at
real
both
quick.
of them.
So
Well,
look,
that's it. We
yeah.
leave him with a great song.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what I'm gonna put on? Some might say it's obvious, but
Do
I'm
you have
saying
I'm Black and I'm Proud?
I do. But you know what I was gonna whack on?
What do you got?
I was gonna put The Ghetto, Donny Hathaway live.
Yeah,
All
do
12
that,
minutes.
do that, do that,
Yeah.
do that.
I know we can do Black and Proud.
Yeah, James
but-
Brown, you know I'm
Do
Black
that.
and I'm Proud. Do Donnie
Do that,
Hathaway.
do
He don't
that.
get enough. Do
Yeah.
that.
All right, peeps. We'll see you next week.
See you next
Bye.
Who's keys? Are these your keys?
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't want you. Yeah.